everybody, Miss Zaleski here. This is my first attempt at making a video, so I'm going to do my best. I know some of you struggled with the circulatory notes today. Page 3 had a segment that looks like this, and you're probably like, what the heck do I do with this? So I thought I'd make a video. Okay, the first thing I want to go over is just a little science reminder about how our body is set up. So we have systems in our body that are made of organs, and those organs are made of tissues. And yes, there's other stuff in between. Tissues are made of groups of cells. Cells have organelles, which you might remember learning about in like elementary school. And then it breaks down even smaller to molecules, and molecules are groups of atoms. So let's now connect this to the circulatory system. Okay, so the circulatory system has organs like the heart and blood vessels, which are made of like heart tissue and blood vessel tissue. And in the notes today, you probably noticed that veins and arteries have different tissues in them. Arteries have a muscular layer, and veins have like a valve in them. Then we break it down to different types of cells. This is kind of my rough sketch of what a heart cell looks like. Then we break it down to organelles. You guys might remember learning about like the nucleus and the mitochondria and stuff like that. And then molecules, just a little science reminder, are things like the most basic one is H2O, and most people know what that is. And they're just groups of tiny atoms that are bound together. And one example atom would be hydrogen of the H2O. Okay, so I thought we just need a little science review. So now let's go to whatever this crazy diagram is. So we first have to fill in our key. So you're gonna need maybe 3 colors. I'm just using my normal black, and then I chose red because anything oxygenated is represented in red on a diagram, and then green will represent iron. So an atom on our diagram, we're just going to make a dot. So that means a group of dots, and we're not really showing the bonds or any of the fancy science stuff because this is just health class. So a group of atoms together would make a molecule. So oxygen is actually a molecule, and it has 2 oxygen atoms, and we're gonna make them red. In real life, obviously they're not red because the air is not red, but red just represents oxygenated blood. And then iron is going to be one atom. Okay, so a red blood cell is jam-packed with about 300 million hemoglobin molecules. Okay, so let's go back over here. So we're looking at molecules and atoms that are inside a cell. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw not 300 million, just 3 sets of hemoglobin molecules. And don't worry about it, just kind of get the idea of how this works. And we're gonna label it hemoglobin. Molecule. Okay. Inside each hemoglobin molecule, there's actually 4 hemes, and each heme has 1 iron atom. So draw 4. Oh, seriously? We have a visitor. Of course. My amateur teaching video is getting a little spiced up here. Okay, really? Okay. Scooch. That's Bob. You maybe saw him on our Instagram. Okay, so we're gonna label this iron atom. On the periodic table, iron is Fe. Okay, and then each heme carries an oxygen. So go ahead and add 4 oxygen molecules and label them like this. And you have to put 2 dots because don't forget oxygen is actually 2 atoms. Okay, so once again, the red blood cell contains 300 million of these hemoglobin molecules. If you've ever heard of anemia, one type of anemia is lack of iron, which holds together the hemoglobin, which allows you to carry oxygen. So this is a big deal. You have to have iron in your diet. You've maybe heard of like iron fortified cereals and things like that. So a proper diet helps you to breathe properly. Well, actually not breathe properly, but enables your red blood cells to carry oxygen. Okay, red blood cells, they have one job, and that job is to carry oxygen. There's not even a nucleus. It's a really basic cell. So that's the basics of what this picture is and what hemoglobin is. If you ever go and donate blood, they will actually check your iron content because they don't want to be taking blood from you, which is essentially taking your ability to carry oxygen. So they want you to be at a really healthy iron level in order to donate blood. And now is a good time if you are old enough to donate blood. There is definitely a need out there at the moment. Okay. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my first video. Maybe there'll be more to come. Missing you guys a ton. And that's it for now. Contact me.